Video, we are going to talk about the anatomy of the heart. The heart, we call it as the central pump. So the heart moves blood throughout the body in most animals. And in mammals, it is a four-chambered muscular organ. It is located in the chest and it is protected by ribs and sternum. In an average lifetime, it beats about 3 billion times and it pumps over 200 million liters of blood. The structure of the heart. Heart functions as two coordinate pumps. There is a separate pump in right side and there is a pump in left side. In right side, it receives deoxygenated blood and then it pumps to the lung. In left side, it receives oxygenated blood which is pumped to the whole body. And the septum in the heart, it separates both sides to prevent blood mixing. So it prevents mixing of the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. And heart is made up of cardiac muscle which is capable of continuous contraction without getting fatigued. Parts of the heart. Heart has both two atria and two ventricles. And to the right atrium, first one, vena cava. There are superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. They join to the right atrium. And in right ventricle, there is pulmonary artery origin. And to the left atria, pulmonary veins come, and from the left ventricle, aorta pumps to the blood to the whole body. There are four main valves in the heart. They are pulmonary valve, tricuspid valve, mitral valve, and aortic valve. The pulmonary valve and tricuspid valve are in the right side, and mitral valve and aortic valve in the left side. Cardiac muscle features. We talk the heart is made up of cardiac muscles. They are very special muscles. They have rich blood supply via coronary arteries and they have high myoglobin content which is used for oxygen storage. And myoglobin has a higher oxygen affinity than hemoglobin. So these coronary arteries deliver oxygen and nutrition and remove carbon dioxide. Blood flow throughout the heart. Blood flow through both sides of the heart simultaneously and the both atria contract together followed by both ventricles. And this sequence ensures efficient circulation to lungs and to the body. Blood flow. First one, venous return. So the deoxygenated blood passes through the vena cava into the right atrium. Superior vena cava brings the deoxygenated blood from head, neck, arms and chest, and the inferior vena cava returns blood from the lower body. Then at the right side, as the right atrium fills with the blood from superior vena cava and inferior vena cava, the pressure of the blood opens the tricuspid valve. So the blood flows to the right ventricle. And thin atria walls are thin as the blood enters at low pressure. And the semilunar valves at atrial entrance, there are semilunar valves. So they prevent backflow into the veins. The function of the tricuspid valve. There are three flaps. That's why we called it as a tricuspid valve. And it is called as atrioventricular valve. So it allows one-way flow from atrium to ventricle. And there are tendinous cord, which called as heartstring. They prevent valve invasion during contraction. Next circulation part is the right ventricle and pulmonary circulation. When ventricle contract, tricuspid valve closes. So it prevents the backflow of the blood. So blood is forced through pulmonary arteries to the lung. And semilunar valves stop blood flow from the arteries. Then at the left side. So the oxygenated blood leaves the lungs via the pulmonary vein. And there are four pulmonary veins. They pump the blood into the left atrium. So at the left atrium, the thin-walled atrium contracts. So the blood enters to the left ventricle, and the bicuspid valve, called like that also as mitral valve, it prevents the backflow of the blood. And when the left ventricle contracts, it pushes blood to the aorta. So blood leaves under high pressure to reach all body parts. So it has thick muscular walls to generate strong folds. And there are semilunar valves, which is also the same function. They prevent the blood flow into the ventricle. Heart valves have a pressure control mechanism. The heart valves, they open or close due to pressure differences across chambers. When there is high pressure on one side, valve open. And when there is high pressure on the opposite side, valve closes. So it ensures unidirectional blood flow. The septum and the fetal heart. So there is a septum which separates the both sides of the heart. It is a thick muscular wall. When there is dysfunction in the septum, the openings, the foramen ovale, it leads to mixing of deoxygenated and oxygenated blood. So it is normally closes after birth, but it remains after birth open. We call it as patent foramen ovale or hole in the heart. So small foramen ovale are usually harmless, but if it is large, it requires surgery. The heart sound. So the heartbeat, it is caused by valve closure, not muscle contraction. When ventricles contract, the atrioventricular valves close, so it causes the lub sound. And when ventricles relax, semilunar valves close. It causes the dub sound. So heart rate is the number of contractions per minute. The cardiac cycle. So one heartbeat is systole and diastole combination. And in atrial systole, atria contract and blood flows to the ventricle. And in ventricular systole, ventricles contract and blood flows to the arteries. In the diastole, heart relax. So there is filling of the heart at that stage. And the cardiac cycle, the combination of both these steps occurs continuously and rhythmically. As the summary, the heart acts as a dual synchronized pump. And in right side, there is a low pressure system, which is direct blood to the lungs. And in left side, there is a high pressure system, which flows blood to the whole body. And the proper valve function and coordination in the heart are vital for efficient circulation. That's all. Thank you.